Welcome to another exciting, entertaining, and educational episode of the Aria Elan Show. We have a very, very special guest this evening. Her name is Roz. She is a multi instrumentalist, a beautiful vocalist, and she has a radio show. In fact, she actually interviewed me on the radio show, and we vibed, and I invited her to be my guest on this last day of Black History Month, the shortest month in the year, but I mean, it is what it is. And as you know, before we start the show, we always will have my uplifting, inspirational song, Don't Let Them Get You Down, because we are definitely living in very challenging times. I mean, people will just do things that you look and you wonder, what is going on? It's like that Marvin Gaye song, What's Going On? And I experienced this morning. We have been having unseasonably cold and rainy days here in Southern California, but today was sunny and blue skies, picture postcard, the type of days that makes people move to Southern California. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for a walk. And as I was walking, there was this woman, a Karen, who had a dog without a leash, which is totally against the laws, the rules. But some people live in a world of privilege where they feel the rules don't apply to them. And then all of a sudden, I kid you not, the dog just starts running towards me and barking, but all's well because my late brother taught me, we used to call him the Pied Piper. I mean, because animals were just attracted to him as well as humans. But I just asked them, when we were kids, brother, why do people love you so much? And why do dogs just follow you around? And he said, I feed them. And he was like a wonderful chef, but then he always kept some kind of hot dogs or something, somewhere on him for dogs. So I travel with A-list snacks, which are like beef jerky, and I was able to whip one out, and the dog became my woman's best friend, And meanwhile, the woman is cursing me. Again, I didn't know her, had never met her. But as you see, I still am wearing a smile on my face because, like the first single on my debut album, which was titled Smile, I smile, no one can steal my joy. I smile like a kid with a new toy. So I'm going to start the show with Don't Let Them Get You Down, and then we'll go to Sister Roz. Keep your head up. You just have to believe in you. Don't you let them get you down. Don't get you down. You can turn your life around. Yeah, don't let them get you down. So let's see. All right. There. I'm technologically challenged, but here we go. Sister Roz, how are you doing?
Doing good. Good to be here.
Good. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited because, a lot of musicians, as well as vocalists that I know are able to play by ear, and just sing just naturally, but have never had formal training. And when you interviewed me, I did some research. I always like to do research before an interview. And I was just so proud when I read of your accomplishments and how you majored in music and then you taught music at a college. And now you are doing private lessons as well as still doing live gigs yourself, involved with a couple of bands. So, why don't you share with the audience of what motivated you to major in music? Because even a lot of people who have a musical background, they will major in something that counselors tell them are more safe.
I feel like there's a couple different reasons. First of all, growing up in music, my mom was like the minister of music at her church, and I have my family is just mega talented. So first of all, it was just in my bones. And then I actually was really fortunate. I had an amazing high school teacher who had a mentor above her who mentored me. And so we actually even connect every now and then, three generations of musicians, of educational, people. So from there, I was encouraged to, first of all, try to go to this music camp. And I fell in love with the college that I went to. And it just literally was in my bones. I loved the choirs. I loved directing choirs. I've directed choirs since I was young and love doing that. So it's like, well, I don't know what else I want to do. At first I thought, my a lot of nurses in the family, and I was like, well, you can't make a mistake with nursing. I don't want to.
I know you can always find employment with nursing.
But that's that when you're dealing with life, it feels a little bit different. I want to deal with life on the other side, like when I'm making people happy. And so I ended up doing it that route.
Yeah, and then when you're doing something that you have a passion for,
Mhm.
that to me just makes the time fly by, when
Sure.
you're actually doing that as opposed to when I'm not knocking people who
Right.
take the
Right.
safe route because I just read an article a few days ago and they named four majors that had the least, and this was like an economist type of thing,
I
right?
feel
Return, they call it the ROI, return on investment.
yeah.
Money you have to spend taking out student loans and all of that, and then how long it would take you to pay them off and everything. And they named art, music, psychology, and religion. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I was kind of surprised
Yeah.
at religion though, because pastors seem to do pretty well. You know. I mean, my father was a pastor for
Yeah.
many years, and he also worked for the state of South Carolina. So it's a different thing than if you're like a mega ministry or
Yeah.
in a big city. I think than if you are a country pastor.
Mhm.
But on the whole, I was really surprised. But if you had it to do again, would you still do the major in music?
I I actually asked myself that before. I feel like at that point, I probably would have to double major if anything. Like fast forward to today, I start looking at like what could I have done? I know with psychology, that was like you said, it was still like on the low end. That
Yes.
was that, I could have had a minor in that because we had to take so much psychology in class to where I literally don't know. I love music so much that I wouldn't even know. Like I love decorating, but I don't know without music what else.
There you go. And that is what it is. It's just obvious that you do have a passion for music because it's just different. Sister Erica Badu said that the music business and music are two different things. So if you are getting into music, just with the frame of mind is, oh, I'm gonna get rich and famous.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
then you may be a very frustrated person. But
Yeah,
if you are into music because you love music, you love creating it, you love sharing it, you love helping other people,
yeah,
improve themselves with it.
sure,
So,
for
yeah.
sure. I think what you're saying, just the part of helping people, it's amazing. I could walk into a room, excuse me, walk into a room and I'm one of those that like I'm an empath, so I can feel stuff. I see stuff, and people's energy, and so I have to talk myself into certain shows that I do to make sure that I'm not here for me. I'm here for these people, and if I touch and move one person, that's all I need. Then I've done my job.
Oh,
There's
wow.
nothing like when I'm out there and I see somebody, they don't even know they're doing it. They're bouncing, and then next thing you know,
Or,
they might be singing
bumping their
along.
heads. You're
You can
right.
look at their face sometimes almost like they're, fighting it, whatever. And then by the end, when they're singing along, there's nothing like that. And I personally, I'm one of those, I didn't realize like, I didn't realize I am very random. I say just things just come out of my mouth sometimes when I perform, and I see people like in midstream just fall over like they're laughing really hard because I just, I'm just me, of course. And so I kind of feel what do we need? What's going on here? And so I see babies. If I see a group of kids, I'll sing, a song for them and see the parents join in with them. And it means a ton to the parents as well, because normally, you'd have a one-track mind. You're just thinking of, I'm performing, I'm doing my thing. Hey, I sound good. But
Right.
I'm like, but look, there's a parent over there maybe struggling with a child, and not even struggling, but taking adult music and turn it into kids where it's their time. Man, I've had a whole corner full on this. It was like some kind of it's like an outdoor performance, and it was really weird. I just all of a sudden I see the kids and their parents, and I start singing a song, and they stayed there for like a couple tunes, and they were the parents as well. They were doing the dances with me and the kids, and it means so much to me that I can
Yes.
touch the littlest one. I actually had a baby stop crying in mid, the mom's pushing him in a stroller and probably like, would you be quiet? I'm the only one that needs to make noise up in here. That's probably what the baby was thinking.
Right,
But,
right. Because, it's all about
you
them
know,
when they're at that stage in their
and they were
lives.
letting me know and but then they stopped, So anyway, I'm not gonna say it was just me, but it was just coincidence, that I'm
No,
singing and
it's
they
your
stopped.
energy.
Yeah,
It's
the
your
energy stuff.
energy and your music and everything.
Hmm.
So definitely, you're in your studio now, and I would love for you to share some of your music with us.
Sure. Well, I want to unplug this. I didn't have a better way. I was trying to be extra professional, but this is how
Oh,
it is.
honey, it's just like to make yourself at home,
Yeah, this
That's
is what we're
it.
doing. All right, here we go. The first song is a song I just released called "I Love the Music." And it's gonna go right into another song that I wrote with my sister. That was my second CD that I released. And that one's called "I Don't Know Why." So I'll play the piano on the second one.
Wonderful.
Again, it's the sound I wanted to begin my song and turn the volume maximum. Turn it up high enough till it makes you feel the pleasure of the rhythm, and you can feel when you break it down to the instrument, quintessential in the quality of sound. That's why I love the music, and I love the band, and I love the sound that they make, and I love the music. Hey, and I love the music, and I love the band, and I love the sound that they make, and I love the music. This is the reason I get pulled over, because I bump so bad. I ain't gonna stop now. Try to catch me and I'll ignore your dial. I'm hypnotized by all the lights on, flashing around with every move. It's so hard how I raise the status of everyone around. That's why I love the music and I love the band. I love the sound that they make, and I love the music. Hey, and I love the music. Yes, I do. And I love the band, and I love the sound that they make, and I love the music. Hey, and I love the music.
Yeah, I love the music too. Yes.
Was I thinking? This is just a short version. I let you go. I hoped you wouldn't mention how my heart grew cold. I thought you didn't love me until I saw you again. The way that you held me made me understand why I toss and turn in the middle of the night. I pray to the Lord, that's why I ever let you pass me by. I don't know why I toss and I turn in the middle of the night. I pray to the Lord, that's why I let you pass me by. I don't know why.
Yay. Yay. Thank you. It's so, so beautiful. You sound so wonderful. Thank you. So, what we're going to do now is I'm going to keep on because I have like a topic that I'm going to talk about. And Roz is going to move closer to her router because, as you've seen, the audio is just perfect. You sounded beautiful, but we're having a little buffering. So, definitely can't wait till you get back, but I'm going to hold down the fort. Okay. Bye. All right. So I'm going to talk about an article that I read in Variety .com, their online magazine. And it was written by this guy who is, he's a author. His name is Ari, and he wrote about a UK, a British band, the band leader, who, in the name of the group, is 1975. Now, I had never heard of them, but the article really, really spoke to me because the leader of the group, and they are, they're signed, they got their record deal like about 10 years ago, I think around 2012 or 2013, where the music industry has totally, totally changed in that decade, in those 10 years. So this guy said that, the bands, the indie bands who are not signed to major labels and who, when they're touring, they have like VIP packages that they will get their fans to pay for so that they are actually making some type of living, as a musician. Because a lot of people don't know or either don't care that musicians only get uh, pennies from the streaming companies, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Tidal, Jay-Z's company, it's the same things, pennies. Okay. And then when you are at a venue, the usually Ticketmaster is for larger venues and larger acts. But as everybody knows who's ever purchased from Ticketmasters, their fees are just ridiculous. You're going, oh my goodness, what is this fee for? So, and he said that by the time a fan pays to come and see you, that it was very, like totally effed up for you as the band to ask them to pay for something like being able to come to sound check, being able to get a goodie bag, getting a perk, like a download of a video before it comes out or a song before it comes out. And the guy in that band, 1975, sounded, and they actually had his audio. I wouldn't just be doing something that was just rumor. So they had like a 30-second clip of his audio saying that. And I know that when someone is privileged, when they were signed back in the day when people were still downloading songs from iTunes and paying like $1, and you got, 1,000 songs downloaded, then that's $1,000 instead of 62 cents, which is where you are now. So it's just it's like a lack of empathy for someone who is privileged in the music business and who does have a major contract to put that kind of negativity out there. Whereas any other job that someone has, they expect to get paid when they work. You're not going to go to work and then you work all week and then your boss says, okay, I'm going to give you this showcase because you got experience. you know you can live off of you know wind soup and air pudding. You can just live off of nothing, and that is totally unfair. It is patently unfair, and unless you are in the group, there's like a small group who are able to actually compose and who copyright their songs, and as songwriters are able to license their songs, licensing it for films, video games, for regular television. There's a whole list of things, and there's income from that. But that's because I'm an actual songwriter, and I have licensed songs. But I'm in the minority. Most bands and people that you see performing, that's their income, and other than uh, some of my jazz musician friends that I know, they will always be able to work because in Europe, they have consistently supported jazz artists, and they have festivals all during the summer, and then different jazz nightclubs. But in terms of other genres of music, you have to think outside of the box as a touring band or touring solo artist with band, of how you are going to earn a living as something that you are passionate for. And I said in the beginning, I quoted Sister Erica Badu, where she said the music business is totally different from music. So the music business is definitely cutthroat, and if you are not thinking outside of the box, then a lot of people, they would just quit. So that's what it is. Let me see if my sister is here. Yes, you are back. All right. So let's hope that this buffering is not happening as much. But were you able to hear, what I was saying in terms of, because I know you perform live also, and in terms of what that lead singer from the British band 1975 said, that bands, indie artists and indie bands who um, have different things, like VIP packages, where say it's costs, I'm just going to throw out a figure, $30, to get in the show. And they say if you pay $50, then you will get this perk. What do you think about it as an artist who performs live?
I'm sorry, why would they do that? Is their motivation? What is the motive for that?
To earn a living, because there's only, if you have, which you do, I believe, songs that are on the streaming sites,
Mhm,
then you know that you only, as an indie artist, get pennies, a fraction of a penny,
mhm.
not even a whole copper penny. You get like a thousandth of
Yeah,
a penny, if you're lucky, a hundredth of a penny per stream. So there are different bands who are touring, and they've come up with different ideas of trying to support themselves and their families, and they give perks to fans. Some do, like Patreon. There's a site where fans can just donate. Bandcamp, where I have music on, and there are many artists. You can set your price, but then fans can give more, and then you can give like a T-shirt if they donate a certain amount. So I guess I'm asking you, in terms of these kinds of things that indie artists are doing to raise money to support themselves and their families. What do you think about that?
I honestly, I feel like 100%. Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. I have a friend who says that, even sometimes just performing wasn't enough. And so he said, I really appreciate people who are just, he's just raw. He just says, he's just who he is. And he was like, I may make another CD. He said, but that's not bringing me enough money. He said, so I made a t-shirt, and he said people are buying the t-shirts. So
That's it.
sometimes you just have to do, something different that and to be creative on top of it, like something that maybe other people aren't doing, or to create something. I love that idea. There, and also something else you just said, and stuff, things like Bandcamp, I think are actually pretty amazing, because I hate that everybody gets though a little piece of us. We're giving to get, like, for them to still take so much from us as an indie
Right,
artist. It
not
breaks
even
my
a
little
little
heart.
piece. I mean, they're
Yeah, right,
taking
you're
a
right.
lion's share. Literally, if it's just, and because I am on the business end
Yeah,
also,
yeah,
I've even spoken at various seminars on the subject, because a lot of people aren't aware of how the music business worked before streaming came into an existence. And artists were able, when you had physical product, artists were able to sell mixtapes, to sell CDs, some even, especially in New York, out of the trunks of
yeah,
their cars, and
yeah,
they made cash money, just like people who are like hairdressers and stuff, they made cash money every day.
yeah,
But because if you had your hustle on,
yeah,
but
yeah, for
then
sure.
everything changed with and I'm the type of person, I embrace change. Don't
Yeah,
get me wrong. But what happened was the major record companies, they cut their own deal. So they are getting millions.
yeah,
Okay. They get paid millions, and then they will share, definitely not millions, but they will share much more than these fractions
yeah.
of a penny that indie artists get, with
You know
their
what you said?
signed artists.
You
You see?
said something before I forget. One thing that I years ago I used to work with rappers, like when they would hire singers to write a hook or a chorus or however you guys want to say it.
Right.
I used to work, and they, first of all, they were a business. Like, okay, this is what I want. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, you got it. Pay me, and they're done. It was just like the best business. But they had the best hustle to me, because when you said just selling, their music out of, they were just hungry. They're, on the
That's
grind,
right.
however they want to say. And I absolutely love that, because um, nobody's going to take you as serious as you're going to take yourself. And so they know that. And so they go in there, and, so they were kind of the first to me, that when I started doing this type of music, who was just really out there saying, I'm going to do it. I even wrote a song called I'm going to make it with or without you. And so that's kind of like, I love that idea of us musicians being able to take the power back, and, try to get out there and do these hustles. I hate to even call it a hustle, because we shouldn't be doing that. You know what I'm
You
saying? It's
shouldn't,
like,
but this is the world that
it
we live
is.
in.
It is.
And the late Nipsey Hussle. I don't know if you're aware of him, but I mean, he was such an incredible person. I mean, he actually he's from South Central Los Angeles, okay? And he even when people were streaming, he's made CDs that were so phenomenal. He was selling them for like $100. Yes, and
Like,
then he put this money back into the community. He could have left. He could have moved to Santa Monica. He could have moved wherever, but he stayed there. He opened businesses and he employed, the people from the neighborhood. And I think that is why it just really hit us so hard,
yeah,
when that coward murdered him
yeah,
like that because of the fact that he was not only like a phenomenal artist, but actually gave back to the community.
yeah.
And it just segues into this. How are you able to give back to the community if you're getting a thousandth of a penny? So, I'm serious. I have it and I look at it. I
It
kid you not.
I
And TikTok
know.
is the worst.
Yeah,
One of my daughter's songs had like about, I think it was like 100,000. I mean, just a crazy amount. It was like between 90 and 100,000 streams. And I'm gonna just ask you, and I'm not gonna do like some people say, guess. No, 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 guess again. I'm just gonna ask you one guess. How much do you think she earned for that?
$30.
Zero. The Easter egg.
I
The
was trying to
Easter
give
egg.
her something. I was like, surely she got
No, no, no,
something.
no, no, no. TikTok, she does like classical. Well, that was in like 2020
Yeah,
when that album came out, which is the essence of Eden. It's like classical and new age.
uh-huh.
It's just beautiful, beautiful music, and people, different dancers and interpretive dancers were doing things on TikTok. Just got a lot, a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
And that is demoralizing because they are making that's why I like that song. It was a Gil Scott Heron song. Shut it down.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't care. People are like, no, 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 I'm in a TikTok influence. I don't care. Shut it down because they are not even, other than like the influencers. Okay, now they're getting paid. But in terms of, which is the theme of our show this
yeah,
evening, the creators of the music is in everything. If
yeah,
you think about it, music
yeah,
is in everything, but
yeah,
it is the value of it has just really, really disintegrated. So that's why people like you, I always counsel them, people who are creators, who are not just doing cover songs, okay? Because when you compose music, you need to copyright it, not that poor man's
right, right, I
copyright,
know, I learned a long time
with
ago.
the
Yeah,
US Copyright Office, and be registered with BMI or ASCAP and
yeah,
follow those steps because you never know. And a lot of times we create a lot, you know.
right,
You
right.
never know which song is going to really resonate, with people.
Yeah, for sure. I know this next
Yeah.
project, hopefully it'll be done in the next couple months. But one of the things I was like, you know what, I'm trying to hold on to my song. I write a song and maybe somebody will sing it. Like I got, one person who, might have bought it or whatever. But I'm like, well, I'm a performer and I actually sing. You know what? Instead of me trying to pigeonhole myself, I have to do this type of genre. I just decided, you know what, and excuse me, and I was going to say one of the engineers that I'm working with, he says sometimes you just don't know, just see what sticks. Because and so what I'm
Exactly. You
doing,
don't
this is
know
like,
what
yeah, you
people
don't
are going
know,
to
you
resonate
don't know.
with. And I'm going to segue into this
Mhm.
because you're also an actress. You sing opera and you've performed in musicals. And when you interviewed me, you had asked me if I was aware of this sister, and I told you her name
Ah,
sounded familiar. So I want you to share that with the audience.
First of all, I hadn't acted in a long, well, when you perform, sometimes you're acting, but
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
we
one of, yeah,
always
act
it up, That's just
but as
part of who
far
we
as
are.
right, but as far as, like, opera, musicals, stage, I hadn't done that in a long time. And so I obviously didn't want to turn down the opportunity to be able to do something like that. And so I was introduced to, told about Hazel Scott, and I felt like I had a pretty decent, Black history kind of, knowing like a lot of people. But I was literally dumbfounded, and then it was kind of funny because they would put the picture. We didn't see it, but behind us would be the picture of the artist who we were portraying, and Hazel Scott was actually pretty similar to what I looked like on, a couple pictures and a couple, even I think how I did my makeup and everything even that
Right.
day. And but then it made me kind of afraid because I was thinking, what if she was an activist, maybe she spoke too loud. Maybe that's why she wasn't heard of, or, as much as what I thought she should have. And then on top of it, the talent that she had was, who does that? Who, besides maybe Alicia Keys, but playing two pianos,
Yeah,
at
I never
one.
even have seen Alicia do that.
I
Yeah.
thought she did, but maybe she didn't. But I mean, just seeing, that because she had so much, and then she's singing on top of it. And no, I didn't play two pianos at once, but I held it down with one piano. But it was first of all an honor to have been thought of that I could even do that. And so she's a, jazz pianist, singer. And if you listen to A Foggy Day, that's one of the ones that I covered from her. But I was honored. And then on top of it, I was it touched me because since I hadn't been on stage, in a long time, that there were two actresses in the audience that I know very well who I'm enamored with their acting skills, told me, and one of them, she just couldn't stop. She was like, "You were Hazel Scott from when you entered to when you exited." Like I
Yeah.
just stayed in that moment, and I do remember, just sitting there, just just being in my mind Hazel Scott, but just to think that somebody who I admire as an actress, who which meant I really took it to heart, that she wasn't just saying fluff, but it meant a ton to me to be able to come back and get back into something like that and to feel like it came natural. Now, mind you, I am an entertainer in my mind through and through. Like I love talk shows. I love not just watching because of they're entertaining me, but I love how different people do different things. And most of my life I didn't even know that I was into this. But like when I think maybe went more when Oprah, I think it was Oprah. No, before that, like the Good Morning Americas and the all of the other. See, it doesn't matter what station. I was always into that, so I'd watch them, and then in movies, I'm just Training Day was one, and I'm throwing out there that I just
Right.
remember. I was like, I feel uncomfortable. I was like, this is a long day. First of all, like I feel like I was in a whole 24 hours because I was kind of in there with these actors, and then I thought this Denzel has to win, and and he did, for that particular show. I mean, a movie, and
I
so when I
thought he should have won for
well, he
X.
should have won way
Yeah,
more than that.
Malcolm X. I mean,
We
he
know,
became
we know,
Malcolm X. But
and
I want
yeah,
to put
mhm,
in there that Hazel Scott was married to
yeah,
Reverend Adam Clayton Powell
yeah,
Jr., who was the U.S. congressman from Harlem in New York. And I don't see how you can exist surrounded by injustice without being an activist.
yeah,
And I have been an activist all of my adult life, and it's reflected in my music. Yes, some of my music is just straight ahead love music,
yeah,
like ballads, beautiful ballads. And then I will have other songs, that are speaking to things that happen. Like I collaborated with my daughter Eden after the horrific, brutal murder of George Floyd. She wrote the music for I Can't Breathe.
mm,
And then, I didn't even write a lot of lyrics. It
yeah,
was just a little bit. I just kept repeating, almost like a mantra. I just kept
Mhm.
repeating the hook. I can't breathe, and just
Yeah.
a lot of just a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of these kinds of so. And then it was during the height of the pandemic, 2020. So we had all these different actresses and dancers from around the country who videoed themselves, and then we had like the editor to edit it all down into a video. So even today, people, this is 2023, people watch it and still comment because unfortunately, it still exists. But Hazel Scott had the kind of talent, and she was able to use it. She left a legacy. And
Yeah.
that is something that, I mean, to me, is just very important.
Yeah.
Where people, and that's the beautiful thing about art.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's film, Denzel's films, when he is with the ancestors, when he's no longer here, his films will still be here.
Yeah. Mhm.
You and I, our music that we create will still be
Yeah.
here and hopefully inspire others. So I have a question for you, though, because you mentioned something about as a songwriter, you would sometimes either write a song for a particular artist in mind or I guess try to shop it to them. Have you had any of your songs that you've written that another artist has recorded it?
Yeah, I do classical as well. So it's really funny that I didn't remember writing a song, but there was someone from I think the East Coast. There was like, "Hey, can I have your email? My choir or this group of women did one of your songs," and I was like, "Okay." And I don't. I mean, and so they sent me this recording and I was just totally blown away that I didn't even remember writing the song until I heard them do it, and it touched me so much. And then I've had actually for Black History I did I wrote something for an orchestra, and an opera singer at the time, one of my best friends, and with a children's choir. And then recently, well, excuse me, I was a part of a music organization where Taxi, I don't know if you know about
Yeah,
Taxi.
I'm familiar with Taxi.
So I tried it
Shop
again.
people's
Yes.
songs, songwriters, composers' songs to try to get licensing deals
Yeah.
for them. Yeah.
So I got a couple through them, but I didn't hear, anything back. They just said that they have it now, but which was actually cool because before I'd started getting more of my songs like better produced, I didn't have any. So for them to actually be interested, I guess that was, I guess, really cool to know. And then Lady A, I gave her some of my songs, and well, a couple of them are going to be released here. I think this year, a couple weeks, months, or whatever. And then,
Good.
from my, let me think, who else is it? Uh, but I guess now it's just like I said, you know, I I love music, and so I have a gospel stuff, but also, popish R&B. But then now the next CD is going to be hip hop R&B because I'm like, well, forget this. I can sing. Let me just release my own stuff. So, yeah,
Exactly.
and I'm saying this because actually I was holding on to a lot of songs because I just thought, maybe if I give it to this person, to sing, and it's just not as easy, you know, to do it. So I'm just starting to release music.
That's the best thing to do because once it is commercially released and you put it out there into the universe, and I look at the streaming as basically promotion. When
Yeah.
you don't look at it as incoming, income producing, but it still serves the purpose of promotion because people from all over the world are able to hear and stream your music, and you never know who's going to cover it. So,
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
that's the beautiful thing about being a songwriter. So let me
Yeah.
ask you this: who is your favorite songwriter of all
Oh, that's a
time?
good question. Songwriter. It's kind of hard because I look at somebody like Diane Warren, who's done so many
Oh, yeah.
for, so many different people. If you look at somebody like, and I honestly never looked into this, but I just assumed, and so whoever writes for Kirk Franklin, and there's another gospel artist right now that there's something about his flavor, the way that they write is just, oh, I see his face. Um, but anyway, Twinkie Clark is a great gospel writer that I admire her writing, and it's weird because when you say that, I forget that they're ghost writers. So that sometimes people have not actually written
And
these
see, a lot
songs.
of people don't even know what that is. So could you explain just
Yeah.
briefly what a ghostwriter is?
And sometimes I feel a certain way about that, but at the same time, I'd probably take a ghost writing position anytime. But it's when like the person who's up front takes the song that's like, say I wrote a song, but then I don't maybe have my name on it technically, but they perform it, but they paid me, royalties or money for that song, but I don't get the um I don't want to say clout. What how would you say it?
Well,
You're not in
the
front.
legal term for that is a work for hire,
Work for hire.
where, yeah,
They pay
they
you out.
have paid you,
Mhm.
for composing it, for writing it, and then you are turning over all of the copyrights
Yeah.
to them. But I always tell people, every situation is unique. So, especially at a certain point in your career, if you have nothing happening in your career, right? Okay,
Uh-huh.
let's just say you are a new artist and then you are approached by Beyonce's manager, okay? And he says that, we like your songs and we want you to write a song, a work for hire for her. Well, to me, you would have to be foolish to say no to a situation like
Right.
that. Like, no, I want to get credit. No,
No.
even if you don't get any credit, like I
Yeah.
heard on that show, Empire, when
Mhm.
it was on, that, a lot of different young artists were writing those songs, but were not credited. But then the people in the industry knew who they were. And later they were able to get other gigs where they did get credit. So it's just all
Now
about progression, you know?
some of these, even I always feel weird when I feel like you have to sign something over, but usually even in those deals, isn't it like just depending on the contract, it could just be a 2-year, like where they hold all the copyrights and then they give it back, or a lot of them both
No,
they keep.
most of the time it's total. And then, you have under the copyright law this like a right of reversion, but again, you have to have an entertainment attorney who's
Right.
experienced to know, because they only give you like a small window,
Yeah.
and then, that is it. That's why Prince wrote on his forehead the word slave,
Yeah. Yeah.
with his battle for his songs, his music with Warner, his record company. And I believe before he passed away, he actually did get, I don't know if he got all, but I know that he did get possession, legal possession, a reversion of
Yeah.
some of his material. And
That's a
that's
tough.
just what it is. But see, when he
Yeah.
was a young artist, okay, and then you're coming from wherever. I think with him it was Minneapolis, okay,
Mhm.
and you have a major record company who's offering you, especially back in the day, offering you a cash advance, a contract. Usually they're long, they may be like 2 years with 5 or 6 options, meaning that the record company has the right to renew the contract,
Mhm.
for those consecutive terms, and that they own this and all that. People are not even thinking about, the true ramifications of what's in that contract.
Yeah.
What they're seeing is my dream is coming true.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a star they're going to have, and back in the day, those contracts, they didn't, the record company, major record company, did not take half, of the artist's money from the tours. They would do tour support and advance monies, and then they would recoup those monies,
Yeah.
like off
Yeah.
of record sales.
Yeah.
Just not
That's
like today with these 360 contracts,
yeah.
meaning they're getting, the money, the lion's shares from off of anything. But
Yeah.
even if you explain it, because I have done it, I've read it, the contract 3 times, and then sat down, it's like we're talking now, and
Yeah.
explain to people, it's like they're in a daze. The allure, people who don't
Yeah. I
understand the
know.
allure of fame and fortune.
So let me
Yeah.
share then. My
Okay.
that's actually happened to my mom. They had a gospel group they used to travel. She had an opportunity to sing with Sam Cooke and to travel, but she had, there's 6 of us.
Damn
So
cooks.
she stayed with, the family, but she has songs. Her and my aunt wrote a lot of songs, and they were actually taken, and so they're not in the mindset to know, at the time what to do. So their songs were kind of stolen, and I think they might even still be being sold today. I think a couple cousins try to get in there and try to figure out, well, who is this company that's, taking it in. Another cousin also had a song that was taken, that, he didn't get credit for. And
Oh, yes. So I said up front,
no, I'm not
the
gonna say
music
any names.
business is cutthroat.
I'm not gonna say any names, but years ago, because my sister wrote a book and she couldn't name what
Oh,
was
yeah,
going on at
because
the
you
time.
get sued. You get sued for
Yeah,
libel and slander.
for
But I just
libel.
have to say
Yeah, yeah,
that the truth, if you can prove it, is
yeah,
an absolute defense to
yeah,
slander and libel. But what happens, and I don't know if that happened in your mother and your auntie's case, is these companies sell. They will sell that
yeah.
contract to another company. Then that company sells to another company. So if that happened, I
That
guess,
I don't
maybe
know
40
exactly.
years ago,
None of us know. None of us know because I think one of my sisters finally started saying, "Wait a minute." She wanted to redo them and just modernize and just kind of release it for fun. And then
Right.
it was like, "Well, wait a minute." But that particular sister had a name that she told me about years ago. She says, "I'm out here in California now." She had a record deal and all that, and she said, "Somebody uh, took my name." And so they announced this person in where I live. They just said their name and attached it to a song on the radio. So we were all excited. They're like, "Oh, that's my sister." And they played the song. I was like,
And
first
you're
of
like, no,
all,
it's not.
I
And
said, my
that's
sister
another
can
thing
sing.
with
And
the
then,
music business. If
uh-huh,
you don't trademark,
yeah,
your names,
yeah,
the group name, whether it's like I just heard the other day that Slim Shady was trademarked, Eminem trademarked that. So if not, then if you trademark your band name, your band's name is XYZ, right?
mhm,
And then somebody else starts to either try to tour or try to put out records, then you can send them a cease and desist. You can stop them.
yeah,
But trademark is an area where, again, you have to have an
yeah,
entertainment attorney who's experienced to do that. They don't even allow just people who aren't attorneys. You don't have to be an entertainment attorney, but you
yeah.
have to be a licensed attorney to even file or appear in
Oh, sure.
trademark um,
Wow.
situations. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm smiling because that's just me. I
yeah,
laugh because that's just me. I know what's going on, in it. And still, I'm able to separate the music business from the music.
mhm,
And I will always have, like I grew up in my father's church, singing gospel with my sisters and cousins and other friends. And those are just some of the best days, like Christmas time,
yeah,
playing Christmas carols and
yeah,
having a big family around. So I associate music, even funerals, where some people associated with we're all human, so
right.
it's like sorrow. But I've had people come up to me afterwards, like I would sing Precious Lord or something like that. And they would tell me, how it comforted them,
Yeah. I
and
love hearing that too.
yes, I mean, you just don't know
Yeah.
how but people who maybe are not artists don't know how much that touches you, when somebody is,
Yeah. When they
you
hear that right
when
thing. I
they
remember.
hear it,
Yeah.
and they're able to come to you afterwards and to give
Yeah.
you a
Make
hug. So,
fun. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
yeah, so for all of that, it could be whatever kinds of people, greedy people or whatever, like I won't even say wolves because that would be insulting wolves, It's just
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
know exactly.
know that they are out there and everything is like a journey.
It
It's a
is.
journey
You
that
gotta
you're
be tough
on.
though on this journey though. You really do because it is not meant for everybody, and that's why a lot of people end up separating because it is tough,
Oh,
and you
people
have to be
people
tough
quit.
to.
They
Oh my gosh,
What
yeah.
about that song? I think she was a British girl. You gotta be tough.
You
You gotta
gotta
be
be
strong.
strong.
You gotta
Yeah,
be.
I used to do that song. Yeah,
Yeah,
I need to
So
bring that
that's
back
what
out.
it is. We got
Yeah,
to stay strong. We got to keep doing our thing. And when you least expect it, sometimes like the song that you just did, like at the end of a session, you're like, okay, we need one more song. All right, like what about this? Let's just
yeah,
fill it up. That's the one
yeah.
that people are saying, oh my goodness, because I've experienced that. I've
Mhm.
experienced it on more than one occasion, and I'm like, thank you. And
Yeah,
I'm thinking, wow, like of all the songs on my album, that's the
that
one that
one. Yeah,
spoke to them.
yeah,
And what happens is like other musicians will like you know, pick and just analyze and dissect, your production, your song, right?
yeah,
Whereas, like a fan, the person who is not a musician, who's not an artist,
yeah. There,
you just know that it
it
touches
touches them. Yeah,
them emotionally. And that's why when I have even some like musician friends, my jazz musician friends, who are pure, and
yeah.
be like, yeah, it's cool, but
But
why you step away from the jazz? And I'm like, it's just whatever type of music. I love so many different. I love country music. I love
yeah,
different
yeah,
genres. So a lot of times it's like parts of those things are all in one song, you know,
yeah, yeah. I
and
love
that's how we are.
exactly. I
But I
love.
want you to we cannot close without you letting the audience know how to reach you. And then I am going to actually put it in the description of the video because after, even when it's not live, they will be able to watch it, listen on my YouTube channel. But how can people reach you, Sister Roz?
First, you can go to my website is Roz Music Site, ROZ is in zebra, Roz Music Site, SITE.com. And then Bandcamp as well, where you could purchase any music, and that should be under Roz Musician. There's Instagram Grammy Nod,
I
Grammy.
love your IG
Yeah.
name, Grammy Nod.
Grammy Nod, yeah. And let's see, what else do I have? I don't do much on Facebook, but it's under Roz, along with 300,000 other Rozes. But
I know.
just I'm
But I
there.
was trying to find you on Facebook. I was like, "Oh, man." That's why I actually
Yeah,
I
send me the link.
texted
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I was like, "Please send me the link,"
Yeah. But I'm under
because
like on streaming
it
platforms,
was like a
stuff like
ton
that.
of roses.
It is men and women Rozes. There's
Yes. But there's only one Roz. That's right. Only one Roz who's doing her thing.
yeah, yeah,
And you definitely keep doing your thing. Keep doing and composing and singing your beautiful, beautiful music because our world, I mean, it would be like black and white
yeah.
if it wasn't for artists. I have
Oh
friends
gosh,
who
yeah.
are like painters. Shout out to my painters, sculpting artist friends, friends who are dancers, and I mean their bodies are
Yeah.
just able to convey all of these
And don't
things.
forget, I forgot Getting Real with Roz on Infinite L Radio when you're talking about
Yes.
your body, when I was asking you about yours because of your fitness, I was like, "We gotta
Oh,
take
thank
some
you.
time about that one." So anyway, Getting Real with Roz on the Infinite L
Yes,
Radio.
that's how we actually met, and shout out to Sister L,
Yeah,
from Infinite Radio for the introduction. I'm so glad you mentioned that because you had to blame it on my mind, not my heart,
yeah.
sister. I hope you're watching, Sister L, because, I actually sent her a follow-up. I always like to do that in writing and thanking people for the opportunity because they didn't have to give it.
Yeah,
And a lot of people out here now, it's like all about the Benjamins,
yeah,
but this Sister L just loves helping independent artists.
yeah, it means a ton.
A ton of artists that she has helped, including myself, so definitely I'm glad we did not end without giving her the last word, giving her that shout out. Well,
Yeah, for
thank you
sure.
so much. I mean, I totally enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah,
I mean,
was
I totally enjoyed your beautiful, beautiful music that you shared with us at
yeah.
the top of the show. And I'm going to leave everyone as usual. Oh, and subscribe. I'm going to put
Oh,
that in
YouTube.
the
I forgot about my YouTube too. Sorry.
Yes, I'm gonna have your
Oh, there's
link
so
in
much.
there. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to Sister Roz. It will be in
Yeah.
the description. And I'm gonna leave everyone with peace and one love.